Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? I think you are all fine and you enjoy a lot on Eid al-Adha. So today I am starting 13 lectures. Before starting today lecture, first of all we will discuss the previous lecture. Then we will start today lecture. You also know that in the previous lecture what we have learned. In the previous lecture we have discussed the primary source of data. Primary source of data is an important tool for collecting the data. Example of primary source of data are individual, focus group, panels of respondents, specially set up by the researcher from whom opinion may be sought on specific issue from time to time. In the primary sources data, the first point we have in the last lecture we have discussed focus group. What is the focus group? As I have already told you, focus group consists typically of 8 to 10 members with a moderated meeting to discuss for about 2 hours on a particular topic, concept or product. Members are generally chosen on the basis of their expertise in the topic on which information is sought. I give you an example of focus group. Computer specialists may be selected to form a focus group to discuss matters related to computers and computing, and women with children may compose the focus group to identify how organization can help working members. The focus sections are aimed at obtaining respondent impressions, interpretations, and opinions as the member talk about the event, concept, product, or service. The moderator plays a better role in steering the discussion in a manner that would draw out information sought and keeping the members on track. Focus group discussion on specific topic at a particular location and at a specific time provide the opportunity for a flexible, free flowing format for the members. The unstructured and spontaneous responses are expected to reflect the genuine opinions, ideas, and feelings of the members about the topic under discussion. Focus groups are relatively inexpensive and can provide fairly dependable data within a short time frame. In the previous lecture, the next point we have already discussed the role of moderator. The selection of and role of moderator played as a critical. The moderator introduces the topic, observers, and take notes or tapes the discussions. The moderator never becomes an integral part of the discussion but merely steers the group precisely to obtain all the relevant information and help the group members to get through an impasse that might occur. The moderator also ensures that all members participate in the discussion and no member dominate the group. Someone from the researcher team may also observe the proceeding through a one-way mirror, listening the verbal statement and noticing the non-verbal cues of the members. In the premises of data, the next point is the nature of data obtained through focus group. It should be noted that through data obtained through these homogeneous group members are the least expensive of various data collection methods and also lend themselves for quick analysis. The content analysis of the data obtained provides only qualitative and not qualitative information. Also, since the members are not selected scientifically to reflect the opinions of the population at large, be considered to be truly representative. However, when exploratory information is collected as a basis for further scientific research, focus groups serve an important function. We will discuss it through example. The value of focus group in exploring the concept of intellectual property. When animated discussion take place, there is a there is a suspicious flow of new idea among the group who discuss the briefly detail the each process. Researchers are thereby helped to obtain valuable insight from the snowballing effect of the discussions. So in the previous lecture, the next point in the primary sources of data video conferencing. If regional variation in responses are expected, several focus groups could be formed, included, trained, moderated at different locations. This process is easily facilitated through video conference. For this purpose, we use different software. One of the example is Zoom. Then we in the secondary sources of data. Secondary data are indispensable for most organizational search. As discussed in the previous lecture, secondary data refer to information gathered by someone other than the researcher conducting the current study. So we started today lecture. Training interview is also part of secondary sources of data. First I will explain what is training interviews. When several long interviews are to be conducted, it is often not feasible for one individual to conduct all the interviews. A team of trained interviews then become necessary. Interviewers have to be thoroughly briefed about the researchers and trained in how to start an interview, how to proceed with the question, how to motivate respondent to answer, what to look for in the answer, and how to close an interview. They also need to be instructed about taking notes and coding interview response. Good planning, proper training, offering clear guidelines to the interviewers, and supervising their work all help in profitably utilizing the interview technique. Personal interview provide rich data when respondents spontaneously offer information in the sense that their answers do not typically fall within constricted range of responses as a questionnaire. However, personal interviews are expensive in terms of time, training, cost, and resources information. So next point, review of unstructured and structured interview. The main purpose of unstructured interview is to explore and probe into the several factors in the situation that might be central to the broad problem area. During this process, it might become evident that a problem as identified by the client so in this process, we can identify through system. Conducting unstructured interview with many people in the organization could result in the identification of several critical factor. These would then be pursued further during the structured interview for electing more in-depth information on them. This will help identify the critical problem as well as we can solve it. In the applied research, a tentative theory of the factor contributing to the problem is often conceptualized on the basis of the information obtained from the unstructured and structured interview. So the next point is some tips to follow in the interview. It is very important point. The information obtained during the interview should be as free as possible of bias. Bias refer to error or inaccuracy in the data collected. Biases could be introduced by the interviewer, the interview, or the situation. The interviewer could bias the data if proper trust and rapport are not established with the interview, and when the responses are either misinterpreted or distorted, or when the interviewer unintentionally encourage or discourage certain types of responses through gesture and physical expression. Listening attentively to the interview, evincing keen interest in what the respondent has to say, exercising tact in the questioning, repeating or clarifying the question posed, and paraphrasing some of the answer to ensure that through understanding go along in keeping alive in the interest of the respondent. Recording response accurately is equally important. Interviewed can bias the data when they do not come out with their true opinions but provide information that they think is what the interviewer expects of them or would like to hear. Also, if they do not understand the question, they may feel defiant or hesitant to seek clarification. They may then answer questions without knowing their import and thus introduce biases. Some interviews may be turned off because of personal likes and dislikes, or the dress of interviewer, or the manner in which the questions are put. They may therefore not provide trustful answer but instead deliberately offer incorrect responses. Some respondents may also answer questions in a socially acceptable manner rather than indicate their true statement. Biases could be situational as well as in terms of non-participant trust level and rapport established and physical setting of the interview. Non-participation either because of unwillingness or in the inability of in the interview the participate in the study can bias data in as much as the responses of the participant may be different from those who do not participation. The actual setting itself in which interview is conducted might sometimes introduce biases. Some individual, for instance, may not feel quite at ease when interviewed at the workplace and therefore not respond frankly and honestly. In door-to-door or telephone interviews, when the respondent cannot be reached due to unavailability at that time, callbacks and further contact should be attempted so that sample does not become biased. The interviewer can also reduce bias by being consistent with the question mode as each person is interviewed by not distorting or falsifying the information received, and by not influencing responses of the subject in any manners. Establishing credibility and rapid and motivating individual to respond. The projection of professionalism, enthusiasm, and confidence is important for the interviewer. A major hiring outside researcher would be interested in assessing their ability and personally prepositions. Researcher must establish rapid with the gain will gain the confidence and approval of the hiring client before they can even start their work in the organization. Knowledge, skill, ability, confidence, and enthusiasm are therefore qualities a researcher must demonstrate in order to establish the credibility with the hiring of the organization and its members. To obtain honest information from the respondent, the researcher should be able to establish a rapport and trust with them. In other words, the researcher should be able to make the respondent sufficiently at ease to give informative and truthful answer without fear of adverse consequences. To this end, the researcher should state the purpose of interviewer and assure complete confidentiality about the sources of the responses. Establishing rapport with the respondent may not be easy, especially when interviewing implies at lower levels. They are likely to be suspicious of the intention of the researcher. They may believe that the researchers are on the management side and therefore likely to propose reduction of labor force, increase in the workload, and so on. Thus, it is important to ensure that everyone concerned is aware of the researcher purpose as being one of the merely understanding the true state of the affairs in the organization. The respondent must be tactful, made to understand that the researcher do not intend to take side. They are not there to harm and starve and will provide the result of the researcher to the organization only in the aggregate without disclosing the identity of the individual. This would encourage the respondent to feel secure about the responding. The researcher can establish rapport by being pleasant, sincere, sensitive, and non-evaluative, evincing a genuine interest in the responses and allaying any anxiety, fear, suspicion, and tension in the situation will help respondent to feel more comfortable for better research. So next point is the questioning technique. In the beginning of an unstructured interview, it is advisable to ask open-ended questions to get a broad idea and form some impression about the situation. For example, a question that could be asked would be, what are some of your feelings about working for the organization? From the responses to this broad question, further questions that are progressively more focused may be asked as the researcher processes the interview. This transition from broad to narrow themes is called funneling technique. Unbiased question. It is important to ask questions in a way that would ensure the least bias in response. I can clear it through example. Tell me how your experience of your job is a better question than if I ask a question, why the work you do must be really boring. Let me hear how you experience it. The later question is loaded in terms of the interviewer's own perception of the job. A loaded question might be influencing the type of answer received from the respondent. Bias could also be introduced by emphasizing certain words by tone and voice inflection and through inappropriate suggestions. So, next point is clarifying issues. To make sure that the researcher understands issues as the respondent intends to represent them, it is advisable to restate or rephrase important information given by the respondent. For example, there is an unfair promotion policy in the organization. Seniority do not count at all. It is the junior who always get promoted, the researcher might interject. So you are saying the juniors always get promoted over the head of even capable seniors. Rephrasing in the way clarify the issue of whether or not responded consider ability important. If certain things that are being said are not clear, the researcher should seek clarification. For example, if the respondent happen to say the facilities here are really pure, we often have to continue working even when we are dying of thirst. The researcher might ask if if there no water fountain or drinking water available in the building. The researcher replied to this might will indicate that there is a water fountain across the hall, but the respondent would have liked on his side of the work area as well, helping the respondent to think through issues. If the respondent is not able to verbalize her perception or replies, I don't know, the researcher should ask the question in a simple way or rephrase it. For example, if a respondent is unable to specify what aspect of job he disliked, the researcher might ask the question in a simple way. The respondent might be asked which task would prefer to do, serve a customer or do some cleaning work. If the answer is serve the customer, the researcher might use another aspect of the respondent job and ask the paired choice question again. In this way, the respondent can sort out which aspect of the job he likes better than others. I hope you will understand today's lecture. You are all in. You are the student of MBA. You must listen the lecture. So today I deliver the lecture in English because it increase your abilities. I hope you understand my point. You must listen this lecture carefully, and I hope you will understand.